Hello and welcome. In this video I will give a brief overview of the camera as an instrument of surveillance in the context of capitalist societies, and how the camera is and was used to control our bodies in the spaces of the everyday. The camera and the images it produces are central to controlling modern society. Surveillance images, for example, work in a number of ways to communicate information about the relationship between our bodies and the space we occupy. The meaning of those images is contextualized by the space or setting they are made in. For example, images used to control a factory's workforce are read differently from those used to police public spaces. In Michel Foucault's 1975 book, Discipline and Punish, he outlined the importance of vision in the implementation of power. Foucault describes a scenario in a medieval village under threat of a plague. In an attempt to control the disease, villagers are confined to their houses and at a certain time each day told to assemble at a spot in their residencies where they would be visible from the outside to authorities. Each household member needed to be accounted for and be plague-free. Foucault was not attempting to demonstrate effective disease control, but the role of seeing and being seen in control of the body. The control exerted over the human body in that scenario is justified by the need to control the spread of a deadly disease. However, within the scenario, there was a realization of the relationship between the ocular, vision, and control. Foucault has further exemplified the relationship between control and vision by using the panopticon as an example. The panopticon is a prison designed by Jeremy Bentham, which allows for a guard in a central control tower to see all inmates without the guard being visible, therefore making power visible but unverifiable. So the prisoners could see the control tower at all times, but they could not see the guard in the control tower, so they did not know when they would be watched. The idea was, through the use of the ocular, to control the inmate's behavior. Foucault stated that panopticonism played a key role in what he termed disciplinary societies. Disciplinary societies, according to Foucault, are centered around institutes such as school, prison, hospital, and the factory. These institutes are responsible for shaping society. The camera has formed an essential part of disciplining the body since we discovered how to fix the image it produces. We can trace the history of the camera as a tool of ideology to initially control the body in the institutes that Foucault spoke of, and as technology has developed, the spaces of the everyday. How has the camera been developed as a tool for disciplining the body? From a historical perspective, there are various examples of the application of photography in science in order to better improve our understanding of external bodily movements. Etienne Jules Marey and Armand Imbert both made advances in understanding the mechanics of the human body by using the camera. Frederick Winslow Taylor then took the notion of human mechanics into the workplace under the guise of his scientific management in order to gain control over the working body, to increase production and produce higher profits. Although Taylor did not use the camera directly within his methods, which broke work practices into manageable parts, he deployed the photograph to document what he termed scientific management. Taylor's method is also exemplary of a use of science to forward the ideological notion of capitalism. Taylor's goal was to increase production, therefore creating growth and profits, which is the bedrock of capitalist societies, and ultimately wrest control of the means of production from workers. With the development of photographic technology and smaller, more compact cameras, Frank and Lillian Gilbreth developed Taylor's methods further through direct use of the camera. The Gilbreth work, which was largely based on Marey and Edward Muybridge's early experiments, sought to produce a working body that could be defined in terms of functionality. The Gilbreths recorded their motion studies using a cycle graph, which involved attaching small lights to the moving parts of the body. The movement of these lights would then be recorded on the image, showing the movements involved in each task. The process could then be broken into distinct movements to allow the knowledge of the skilled craftsman to be easily passed on to the unskilled labourer. The methods used by the Gilbreths changed how the worker and labour were visualised. The once artisanal processes of creation were broken down into distinct movements that could be replicated by anyone who could read these images. This was to change the value of the worker and the craft involved in labour forever. The corporation was now gaining control over the working body and could use it to represent the process of capital. Coming back to Foucault for a moment. Although he later admitted being a little overzealous in discipline and punish, his theories around disciplinary societies remain very true. As mentioned already, Foucault posited that society was shaped around the institutes we move through in our lives. As part of disciplining the body, the ocular has played a key role in these institutes. So if we think about the school playground placed in a central courtyard surrounded by gazing windows, the panoptic prison, which I already talked about, and the elevated manager's office gazing over the factory floor. All of these are forms of control through a method of constant and unverifiable observation. Fast forward to today, and technology is taking over most forms of observation that involved the human eye. The camera plays a significant role in this, as the images it produces are increasingly read by algorithms, which produces data on the position and form of the body in the spaces of Foucault's institutes. The human eye is more and more being replaced by the algorithmic eye. One issue with technology is that it gives us more freedom, and that goes against Foucault's theories. We are no longer bound to the institutes that he wrote about. Therefore, we no longer are considered to live in a disciplinary society. It is not that the institutes of school, hospital and prison and the factory have disappeared. It is just the way they are deployed has changed. So this new society needed a new theory. According to Gilles Deleuze, we now live in societies of control. So why is that important? The reason will be clear in a moment. While in societies of discipline relied on spatial enclosure, Deleuze theorized that societies of control offers more freedom. He used the example of a highway. A highway does not enclose us into a space, but allows us to move around, giving us more freedom, but yet there is a structure imposed on that freedom. As I noted earlier, we have not left disciplinary societies behind completely, but instead the institutes that formed a core part of it have become malleable spaces with things like constant access to work email and endless learning. Where do the camera and the image fit into all of this? Societies of control that we are now currently experiencing, according to Deleuze, are evolving all the time, and technology plays a key role in that evolution. As new technologies offer us more freedom, we are encouraged to use them and are tracked and mined for data. The more we use them, the more data there is. The camera and the images it produces are taking center stage in tracking us as deep and machine learning continually evolve to become more efficient at scraping information from images, information like biometric data, and our various bodily functions that we perform in public and private spaces. Naturally, in societies of control, we are encouraged to move around more, be outside, and increase our use of technology such as smartphones, as these make it easier to extract data from us in order to control our impulses, habits and lives. The more data on our lives that we produce, the more accurately algorithms can predict our future behaviour. As the camera has evolved over time then, its presence has been central to the development of modern society. It plays a key role in controlling the body through various methods of surveillance. From standardizing work practices to policing public and private space, the camera has been deployed as a tool of capital in order to progress neoliberal agendas. Of course, other ideologies have deployed the camera too, but there is little doubt about how it has been used to allow capital to gain control over the body.
Thank you very much for watching my video. If you'd like to see more content like this, please consider supporting my channel on Patreon, link below. I have a few different levels of support you can give that offers items such as a transcription of the video, my research notes and reading lists. It is also possible to get a print of my photographic work if that interests you. I put a link below to my website where you can view the images. And then finally, feel free to leave comments, questions or suggestions below. Thanks again for watching.